society has the mindset, separate but equal. Is America really made up of we the people? Do we even exist? Did we even make it on the census list? I'm talking about my African people. There's more to us than slavery. What about the prequel?
Being Black in America is a challenge in and of itself. In high school, middle school, and elementary school, we learned that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. Granted, that was a really big part of history, but it's not all of it. I never had a chance to learn how my ancestors played a part in that history and how I am where I am today. The only thing I learned about my history was slavery, Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr., and the little bit I did know about Malcolm X, I learned from a Denzel Washington movie. What kind of history is that? What kind of education is that? When I got to college, my knowledge expanded. The Africana Studies program has enhanced my knowledge about my history, opened the doors I never knew were there, and introduced me to the rich culture and history of Black people in the African diaspora. I learned about educators such as W.E.B. Du Bois, painters such as Aaron Douglas, and writers such as Langston Hughes. Now that's an education. In all, Africana Studies gives me a sense of self, a sense of belonging, and now I know that my grade school teachers, they were either uneducated or unaware of my Black history.
Will we ever get past the Brown vs. Board of Education days? Does the 13th Amendment guarantee we don't get treated as slaves? Many say America is free and one should count their blessings. But on the other hand, education is expensive, and here I am counting lessons.
Through studying Africana Studies, I was able to understand how out of touch our current education is in regards to our lived experiences as people of color. Africana Studies was the first time in my college experience I was able to question the world around me and the system that were created to marginalize and to victimize us for profit. With the education that I will receive at Rowan, I hope to instill within my future classroom a space for empathy, understanding, and humanity. On a different side of the same coin, I want to create a space to challenge our perceptions of violence in order to make the world we live in a more habitable place to live in.
America plays a big role in the United Nations, but here we are getting selective education. Many individuals believe that Africa is a country, or everyone is poor and the children are hungry. The other day, someone asked me if I speak African. I'm just like, here we go with that again.
It came as quite a shock to me when, at a very young age, I realized that the US education system lacked the integration of African history in their books. I mean, everything from their contribution to astronomy, biology, geometry, physics, and humanity was left out, and not accidentally, but purposely. The books even left out the scientifically proven fact that everyone originated in Africa. More importantly, the Holocaust of enslavement, and how Blacks were treated and the struggles by which they went through to obtain their rights do not receive full recognition. Academically, these are some of the truths that I have so far learned from my Africana Studies major, and I'm only in my first year of studies. Personally, majoring in Africana Studies has offered me a sense of individuality, that I matter, and that my ancestors were much more important than was deemed of them by the education system and society.
It feels like Black History Month is a holiday, and we need programs like Africana Studies to consolidate. We had 28 days, so enjoy it while it's here. Learn what you can now, until next year. This is a yearly, unfortunate cycle. In the classroom, we fight for education, and outside, we fight for survival.
When I first entered college, I was kind of overwhelmed. I had to overcome a little bit of a culture shock because I come from a predominantly Black community, and I would be attending a predominantly white institution. And it just wasn't how I envisioned my college experience. So I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder when I first entered, but I was helped through that frustration by seeking different avenues to educate myself on my cultural background and others' cultural backgrounds at the same time and their relation to each other. And it's just really helped me kind of to push through that initial frustration. And like over the years, I kind of just continued to take another class and another class. I took Africana Studies, Africana Social Thought, African American History, and they all kind of just came together to prepare me to better understand the plight of Black people and the difficulties over the years, and it helped me to better navigate differences in general, not just regarding issues of African Americans in America, but just any social group or any oppressed group in America. So I felt like now that from my freshman year to now my senior year, I'm better equipped to understand other people's differences, and not just to understand them, to want to understand them and to do the work, to do the research as to why things are the way they are now and what made them like that.
Black Lives Matter is a necessity when we are not included. If all lives truly matter, then our history should not be excluded. The purpose of school is to teach knowledge. Since I did not get any black education in high school, I'm demanding I get some in college.
Africana Studies matters.